This is the Team Blaney Podcast.
Let's go race for a championship.
Let's welcome Ryan Blaney back to the Team Blaney Podcast, the driver of the number 12 Ford Mustang for Team Penske, and somewhat now a regular guest on the show this year in 2025. And so thanks for coming on again, Ryan.
Yeah, nice to be back on with you fellas.
And so again, first of all, thank you again for doing this. We know you've been super busy, really busy guy, and I actually like to kind of talk about that first. Just in this last week or so, you've been to Mexico. Then you went to Chicago, and you went on several other shows and stuff there. You've been on XM for an extended period of time, at least twice this week. You went to a minor league baseball game last night, headed to Pocono today to get ready for practice and qualifying tomorrow. How do you keep track of all of this stuff? And I maybe every week is not as crazy, but I don't know. You're out and about a lot.
Yeah.
And do you enjoy this kind of promotional side of the sport that you've been taking on?
Yeah, I definitely say not every week is this wild. I will say though, probably the last month has been pretty wide open. So I'm gonna take a break here before too long. But no, it's been fun. Been able to go do a lot of stuff, and yeah, I mean this week from traveling back to Mexico, getting home Monday night from that race, and then turn around and going to Chicago Wednesday. Had a bunch of stuff to do yesterday. Then I flew up to Pocono. I just got in probably a couple hours ago, and then ready to finally get back in the race car this weekend, which I'm looking forward to. But yeah, it's been busy, but some cool opportunities I've been able to go do, and it's hard to pass those things up, when you get to go do some unique things and touring the White Sox Stadium, all that stuff. Like, I enjoy watching baseball, so like, and I'm not like a diehard of any team, but I just like seeing ballparks and like how everyone operates and stuff like that. So that was a cool experience, and then also promoting the Chicago race that's coming up in a couple weeks as well. So yeah, it's been a little wide open, but I'll be able to slow down here in a little bit.
And I know there's been more eyes on this year with drivers doing a lot of things, and some people chalk it up to the program that they have for you guys now that incentivizes it. But really, from the beginning of your career, you've kind of been at the forefront of this. You had a podcast for a long time, and I remember people used to say like you would never say no to things. You're always out in front of the public. So I feel like you've just been doing it since the beginning, and now you're maybe finally getting incentivized for it. So
yeah, I feel like I've always been pretty open to doing stuff. If it helps, the sport, if it helps selfishly myself, right, getting to do these things to kind of get your name out there and stuff. So I don't really know where that came from. I was and I still am kind of a like reserved person, but I just like doing these types of things. I think they're fun to do, and things like that. So yeah, it's been something I've been doing for a really long time. And I think since I was that way for a long time, early in my career, it opened up a lot of doors for me to kind of be the first guy to get asked to do a lot of this stuff. Like some guys who don't do a lot of things, like they're not going to get asked to do this stuff because I think people know the answer to them already. So I think it's led to a lot of cool opportunities for me to be able to go do.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've done our show like 3 times last 3 years, and then you win a race basically within the month afterwards. So I just accredit it to that you just want to get another W, right?
Yeah, I hope it pays off for this weekend. We'll see if it continues to be good luck.
Yeah, exactly. So overall, how was the Mexico City experience overall?
I had a great time. We got in Thursday, went home Monday, so it was a little bit longer week, out there. But I thought, the racetrack I thought was great. The facility was fantastic. The people down there were really excited that we were there. The only like little thing that, and I knew what, what you're getting into when you're traveling to another country and you're, flying 4 hours south. Like, it's a lot of travel, just kind of the process of getting on your big 777 with a bunch of other teams and flying down and getting bused to Mexico City, the Sprinter van travel to and from the racetrack from the hotel every day. But really, I mean, like, what you're getting into, like, what it is, and it's just enjoy the experience. And I did. So, yeah, I thought it was a great weekend. And like I said, the fan interaction down there, seeing how pumped up that the locals were that we were there, I thought was really, really neat. Being able to talk to them a good bit in the garage, doing the ride around before the race, seeing their excitement level, that really makes us feel good. And, gosh, I think, a lot of people down there are big race fans, and that might've been their first NASCAR race ever, but it just shows that their support on the television that they give us. And I hope we brought them a really neat experience.
Do you think they should, that NASCAR should go back there in the future? I mean, next year, or even like put it in a little rotation where every couple of years you go there, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I don't see why not, honestly. Like, everything was smooth. The racing was really good. Like I said, the fan base really embraced it. So, yeah, I don't know what their plans are personally, but I would definitely enjoy seeing it come back on the schedule at some point.
So Jordan Bianchi of The Athletic reported earlier this week about the possibility of a street race in San Diego. What would you think about returning to Southern California, but maybe in sort of an unexpected way than folks would have anticipated?
Yeah, honestly, that was the first I've heard of that when Jordan wrote about it. And I don't have a subscription to the New York Times or whatever he writes, so I couldn't really read the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, I do know that, like, NASCAR wanted to get back to another race in California, somewhere in Southern California, since we lost Fontana, and the Clash, in LA. And, I think it's unique. It's great. Since he wrote that, I've been hearing a little bit more and more about the details of if it does happen, like what they're trying to work on. We'll see if it does happen or not. But yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, I think they've proven that they can go to these street races and build racetracks and put on great shows. And I think that's it's a good market for us out there, the Southern California market. And I hated seeing Fontana go. I mean, I think you ask anybody, like, that place was amazing. And be nice to try to get back out there in some regard.
Is there if you were thinking of like another city in the U.S. that you'd like to see host something like that? Is there one in particular you think of that, you could see a street course at?
I don't really know. I think Chicago's great. I personally have never been to San Diego in general. So it'd be a new experience for me, just that city. Yeah, I don't know where you could do it. Like, that's a unique market. Like, I heard rumors about Philadelphia, which I thought was pretty unique. And that was like a X thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you could do it like around, I don't know, if you want to go to Detroit or something like that. Like, I don't know. I think you can do it anywhere, honestly. I mean, I don't really think I have a place that, like, man, we should go there for a street race in the city, but I'm kind of open for anything.
I'm kind of voting for Pittsburgh. I don't know if you've ever thought about, have you ever been to downtown?
Nice. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be crazy to drive right around both stadiums there?
That'd be kind of cool. You got the lake, you got the stream right there, the river. So yeah, I think that'd be pretty good idea. Yeah, I like that.
So maybe along those same lines, if logistics weren't an issue and this is something overseas or something anywhere else, is there anywhere else you would want to see NASCAR go, or even short tracks out there or other tracks that they maybe could go to that you'd want to race at?
I've been hearing that, like, we're wanting to get up to Montreal. I think that'd be a really good one. If you go overseas, to somewhere in Europe, like that's another big step, right? Like, Mexico City, haulers can get there. Montreal, the haulers can get there. Now, when you got to start either putting stuff on airplanes or on boats, that's a whole nother can of worms. But it'd be awesome. Like, I would love that. It's just the schedule. You'd have to really work on the schedule to figure out how you're going to do that. My personal one is I wish we'd go back to Chicagoland.
It's a good one.
That place is great. It puts on a great race, and I don't know why we stopped going there in the first place. I guess I do know. I mean, they wanted to go to the city of Chicago and not Joliet, but I would love to see that track come back personally. If we're talking about tracks I'd like to go to.
We thought you'd be good at Kentucky too. You've got some success there.
I like Kentucky. The old track was better. When they paved it, it lost a little bit of luster. That old concrete, bumpy racetrack was one of the coolest places, and it lost a lot of detail when it got repaved.
So teams and drivers had to rely heavily on the simulator going to someplace like Mexico there. When running the simulator for road courses like that, how much truly translates to what you guys are going to do, or how much is actually just learned when you get on the actual track for practice early on?
Yeah, so I do sim work before road courses. I don't do sim work for ovals. It's just not how I think it's helped me. It does help me for road courses, just kind of getting my brain acclimated to the visuals of everything. And setup stuff, especially when you're going to a place for the first time. So I'll do it, 2 or 3 times before a road course event, sitting there for, 4 hours and just kind of run through stuff. So I think it does help. And I always have to separate it. I think you can learn some bad habits if you're fully trusting a sim. I mean, it's just real life to sim work in anything. There's always going to be a little bit of a disconnect, at least nowadays. Maybe 10 years from now it's going to be perfect, but I kind of take it for what it is. So for me, I use it as a visual key. They do a great job of scanning the racetrack, so bumps and signage, things like that is really good, very accurate. For me, my brain gets messed up. I can almost get sick on it. Something about how my brain operates or whatever it causes that, this I call it the silo that we have in the Ford. It looks like a big corn silo that it's in, and it's 360 cameras. The car is full motion, it's a full body stock car. But there's some moments to where it will not glitch, but just have a moment of the car goes one way and the screen doesn't maybe follow it. And my eyes get kind of off, and I got to shut down if that happens. That really just messes up my equilibrium. But they do a good job. It doesn't happen very often, but yeah, I use a lot for, gear reference, break points. I feel get to be fairly similar. But when you go there in real life, turn 1 in Mexico is super fast to a really slow, tight right-hander. And honestly, by the time I got up to speed at Mexico at the end of practice, my brake marker was pretty close from the sim to real life. But your first laps there, I'll never go and just brake marker just like the sim very first lap. I'm 10 car lengths back, just you work your way up to it. But the sim stuff has gotten really, really far. I mean, I've been around that thing for 10 years, and it's come a long way, and teams really utilize it, and it definitely helps me out before I go to these road races.
I think that was a good decision, because I think we saw a car go pretty deep in their brake zone after you got the wets on.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be that guy. So
No, you don't want to be that guy. I will give our race, our guys, our drivers credit. The start of that race, it starts raining. Yeah. We run half lap and it's raining. We didn't make any laps in the wet all weekend in practice and things like that. And then we all threw on slicks or wets. And besides that one moment, I thought everyone did a really good job. We were all pretty up to speed pretty quick, and no one had any big moments. There was just that one deal into turn 1. And that was just a one-car mistake that unfortunately took out, 3 or 4 or 5 guys. But yeah, I thought we did a pretty good job. I was proud of the Cup Series for taking that on and doing pretty well.
So there's a few more races coming up, like Chicago, Watkins Glen, where they have to fit the car on on the other side of the car, and how much different is it for you as the driver when you're essentially like backwards from where you're used to when you come in and pit the car?
Yeah. I mean, it's a big change for the over the wall guys and for us for sure. I'd say it's more difficult for the pit crew guys just because they're doing everything backwards. I mean, for me, it's just a little bit different of a visual of making sure I don't crowd my jackman when he goes back to the right side of the car against the wall, just because your reference is different. But it is odd, looking the other way, looking right for your sign, and then trying to get square in the box and get stopped where you need to be, not only forward and backwards, but left to right in the box. Like that's a big thing. You can't be right up against the pit wall or else you're jamming the guy. So, or they can't pit it whatsoever. So it is a big change. It is tough, and especially because we don't do a lot of them a year. We do maybe a few of them. So it is a difficult one. But I think those guys, they have their work cut out for us a little bit more than us on just adjusting, and they work on that stuff all week, and just kind of doing everything backwards for them is a little bit different. But they do a great job at it.
Yeah, I heard a story of somebody who had the your wheel markings when you have to turn the wheel for this side or that side, and they actually went backward. And what would be backward for them? If it was actually what would be normal for them, but it was backward for that pit stop, and it kind of they couldn't get the wheel out because of it.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate one for sure. There's marks. We put marks on the wheel, left and right. So, but yeah, that's easy to kind of get off. Like, oh man, oops, we messed that one up. Luckily on road courses, it's not a huge change. Like it might be this much either way. Mm-hmm. Where some places it's like a quarter turn of your steering wheel to get the left front or the right front off. But yeah, it can definitely get a little confusing.
One last thing on road courses, at least on that topic. I think it's the morning of the Chicago street race. The three manufacturers are going to put their electric cars on track for some laps with some different drivers in there. I think David Reagan might be in the Ford one, and then there's some other ones. We know fans kind of get crazy over the topic, but it's not going to replace the Cup Series. Probably not. No. But if they did start like a companion series that raced a few races throughout the season, is that something you'd be interested to get in? Because I mean, I know those cars can be really powerful, and is that something you'd want to experience or try out whenever that maybe comes to fruition?
Yeah, I mean, let me put everyone at ease. It's not going to replace the Cup Series, like you said. It's not going to do that. At least not for my lifetime, I don't think. I don't know. I mean, I've seen, they have that car every now and then in the shop. I've gotten to look at it a couple times, and I mean, I think it'd be cool to drive one, just feel, hey, here's a 4-wheel drive, all electric beast. And it's going to have a bunch of power for 15 minutes or whatever that they could go with the battery pumping that much power out. But I think they're unique. They're neat. I don't see a downside. Like, who cares that each manufacturer has one? It's something that they can kind of show off and throw out there. And all the manufacturers, right, they're trying to balance that the electric and gas powered vehicles. Like, you have to balance that out. So I get their desire to want to have a race car, a cup car like that, so I don't know what they're going to end up doing, but I wouldn't mind driving one around. I think they'd be kind of fun to see what they got.
So the last time we talked with you, the 12 team was still looking for its first win of the year. Shortly after, you picked up that win in pretty dominant fashion at Nashville, locked yourselves into the playoffs. Now I know this isn't going to change you as a driver, your driving style, but does it change at all any way the team might approach the rest of the regular season? Like at Mexico, you guys stayed out and got stage points. So are you looking at to try to get more stage points or playoff points, or does it give you an opportunity to be a little bit more risky with the strategy, knowing that you've kind of locked your way in?
I don't really think so. I get that question a lot, like when you win in the regular season, like, oh, do you guys change up how you race, or like, do I change up how I race? And really, I don't think we do. Like, Jonathan and I don't really change up anything whether you have 0 wins or 5 wins, 1 win, like it doesn't really change. We're always going to try to do the best that we can to get the best results. And that's whether that's like in Mexico, flipping some, or not flipping the stage and getting your stage points and then trying to work back forward from there. Or if you think you have a car that can win, then you're probably going to flip those stages, and try to cycle back towards the front. I think, at Mexico, when we did that, we didn't think we could win. We thought the best we could run was maybe 5th to 8th, and I thought that, hey, we can get our points in the stages, restack. And really what kind of hurt us at Mexico was that caution coming out there at the end, because we were running long and then a lot of guys pitted and then caution come out. We had a pit and it cycled us back to like the mid-20s. So I think we've just always tried to do the best job of optimizing our day, whether that's kind of points or flipping it to win. We did this here last year, right? We sacrificed stage points because we thought our car was good enough to win, and we wanted to be towards the front at the end of the race, and we did it, and you end up winning the race. Now, maybe you don't get as many points on the day, but you get a win and you get 5 playoff points and things like that. So I think it's just, he always tries to think of what position we're in and how, like, my car is and the speed that we have. And he tries to make the best calls when it comes to that stuff that he thinks in the moment. And I'm always on board with it. So I don't really think it changes much after the Nashville win.
We had the opportunity to be at Nashville. It was great. Actually got to see you in Victory Lane.
Yeah.
And that was awesome to see. My wife did ask a question, and you said that night that you don't know how to play the guitar, but is there still any chance of even some of the folks that in the industry that might give you any lessons on that?
No. No. I tried in COVID, and I tried for like a month, and I got fed up with it and couldn't do it. So I think that would just be a nice little mantelpiece. I'll find a place to hang that one up. I'll probably put it in the house. That's a cool trophy to have in the house somewhere. Cool aesthetic piece for the house. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever know how to play it. Maybe if I have some buddies over one night, I'll hook it up to an amp, and if they know how to play, they can pick a little bit, but not for me.
And where does that rank on the list of trophies? Because you've won some cool stuff. You have the Martinsville clocks. I think you won at like a jukebox at an Xfinity race. So you have this guitar now. Where's that rank? Yeah,
the guitar's up there, I think. The really cool thing about motorsports is the trophies are all unique to the racetrack. And I think everywhere you go, some places have really unique ones and cool ones that drivers kind of really get hyped up for, and other ones are kind of not as neat. Some trophies, I have some that are just like, that's a trophy, but it's not like a crazy unique thing. So I think the Martinsville clock is my favorite. It's hard to beat that one. That jukebox is cool. I won in Kentucky. That thing's Bluetooth that plays, which is kind of cool. When I won Atlanta in 2021, the Folds of Honor race, that's a cool trophy. It has a turret on it. So there's like an American flag in the plaque in the middle, and then there's like a turret that sticks out of it. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I'd say those are a few of my favorite ones that I've been able to win over the years. So the Cup Series is headed back to Pocono this weekend. You kind of talked about the race a little bit from last year and the strategy. You guys picked up your second victory in the Cup Series at the track. It was your second win of 2024 last season. Where are you at on the possibility of history kind of repeating itself this year headed into the weekend? I hope so. We'll see. I'll know better tomorrow when we get on racetrack and see where we're at. But yeah, I just kind of look back at, obviously last year our car was really good, and we did a great job through the race. And I think honestly our cars are even better this year than what they were at this time last year. I think we've really gotten to where our stuff has been really, really solid. So hopefully that carries over to this weekend and we can just compete. I mean, that's all you can do. And then the strategy game is something. The strategy game here is always wild. Like, you never know what you're going to get. like I talked about earlier, it's like, do you think you have a car that can win? Do you want to flip the stages and try to be up front, or take your stage points and then try to work your way back towards the front? How good is your car? Can you pass? Like, that's all the kind of the things that you're figuring out during the race. We talk about it a little bit, Saturday and Sunday after practice and qualifying, but yeah, hopefully we can bring some good speed tomorrow. But I'm excited for it. Hopefully we can go win 2 in a row out here and get our second win of the season. And like you said, repeat what we did last year.
Are you paying any attention to this, the in-season bracket thing that starts next week at all?
Yeah, I didn't really pay attention to it at Michigan when they started the seeding. And then Mexico City, I didn't really pay attention to it. And then I saw a graph of where the seeding is currently after Mexico City. And I was like, ooh, I kind of need to get my seeding up. Which honestly, like, round 1 seeding doesn't really matter. We're going to Atlanta next week. So it doesn't really, you're going to have some upsets of guys who don't, who are lower. So I wouldn't say it's really like at the top of my mind right now. But I think it'll be something that you're thinking about a little bit through the in-season tournament, like who you're racing. You're not going to compromise your race for that. But you're definitely going to be aware. Like and the cool thing about the in-season tournament, I think, is like, obviously it's going to be like a bunch of races within the race. But you're going to be like, if you're running, if you're in this second or third race of this thing and you're racing the guy that you're going up against for 10th, you're going to be racing your ass off for 10th, right? To beat that guy. Like, so there's going to be some cool battles. I hope they can cover the things that are going on and kind of keep track of that, as well as keep track of the big race that's going on. And I also think it's unique. It gives us a chance to, right? Other sports, it's one team versus one team, right? It's 1v1. This sport is not that way. Motorsports, it's one person versus the whole field of drivers. And, so it's not often that you get like a head-to-head matchup that means stuff. That means a lot. And so I think it'll be neat to be able to be a part of it and for them to cover it correctly. I hope they do a good job of covering it correctly and showing these battles and what we're going for. So it'll be fun. It'll be a fun time. You're going to be competing hard. Like I said, it could be for 20th, and you're like, why are they racing so hard for 20th? It's like, well, I got to beat this guy to transfer to the next round and try to still win the money. So I think it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, a tip for people that do get maybe really interested in it is I believe TNT is going to do an alternate broadcast with Larry McReynolds and Jeff Burton, who are just going to follow this.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So there's an opportunity there for people that really get into it, or maybe they have some money on the line that someone will be covering it in depth.
That's good. Okay. I didn't know that. That's good.
So maybe one last thing on strategy. Races at Pocono and then some other races this year have turned into like fuel mileage races. And it was funny earlier today, I was thinking about this question. I heard your old crew chief, Todd Gordon, say that the best time to start saving fuel is when you wake up in the morning. You should already be saving fuel. I don't know if he ever told that to you, but do you like when races kind of turn into that, or would you, as a driver, much rather just be able to go all out and not have to worry about it? Or are you proud of the way that you're able to save sometimes?
I mean, it's part of the game sometimes. And we won't talk about the speedway saving crap that we have to do nowadays. But in a fuel mileage race, like if it's like tight, your last pit stop that a caution comes out and it's like, all right, well, we have to pit, even if you're going to be 2 laps short, you got to pit at that point and then try to save what you can. And I think, I used to just save gas nowadays all the time, just for a pit stop, kind of a speed up, just because you never know what predicament you're going to be in. It's rare that we fill these cars all the way up at a normal racetrack anymore, just because the fuel guys can't dump enough gas in it, in the time that if you're busting off an 8.5 second stop, you're not getting all the gallons in it that you need. So you just go. But I enjoy it. Sometimes, it pops up of, hey, I need 3 laps. And it's easier at some tracks than others. Hey, 3 laps at, Dover is a little bit different than saving 3 laps at a Michigan. 3 laps, that's a lot of miles. In Michigan, that's 6 miles. So I need to really become a hybrid real quick. That's when the battery powered car is going to come into play. But yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, it's something that, it's like it's kind of a skill. Some guys are really good at it when they have to save, and how it's not only saving, it's how much time do you not lose while saving. Like that's a skill that you have to have, because you're completely changing up your driving style in the moment on the fly while trying to keep the best lap time, but also trying to save as much gas as you can. And then sometimes, you'll start saving. Your team will be like, hey, you need to start saving. I need 3 laps. So you start saving, and 10 laps later, they're like, hey, they'll give you an update. Like, I need more. Like, you need to save more. Or, you're good, or you can push a little bit harder. So we're getting a little bit of updates there. But you still don't know. I think our NASCAR is neat because, right, you don't know how much gas is in it. You're just calculating how much you think you got in. You can see the fuel mileage on it real time, but it is a skill, and I do enjoy those races whenever they come up. They don't come up very often, but yeah, I don't mind them at all. It's just kind of a situational thing, that who can do it better than the other guy, and how much did you actually get in it at that stop.
Well, thank you, Ryan, for coming on and talking with us once again. Like you said, go out and win that race at Pocono, and please get some rest.
All right, man.
Some point
I
after
appreciate
that.
it. Yeah, we'll see you guys.
Well, thanks everybody for coming. I hope you enjoyed it.